Hello, welcome to another chair yoga video. I'm calling today's video Reconnect. Sometimes after an illness, trauma, an injury, we feel disconnected from the body. So today's practice will help us reunite body, mind, breath, bringing it all back together. Now the moves that we're going to do today aren't very big. As a matter of fact, we can do everything in our chair, perhaps even everything lying down in bed. And it's not a very long practice either, but it's a powerful one. So grab your chair, make yourself comfortable, and we'll get started. We'll start as we always do, seated in our chair, and I'm going to sit all the way back, connecting my feet to the floor through a prop. I'm using both my blocks today just so that my feet are very secure here. My thigh bones are on the chair. The back of the chair can support me as well. Now, I don't want to schlump, but I also don't need to be military in my effect here, right? So just a tall spine, but I'm well supported. We'll turn our palms up in our laps. And we'll just begin to notice the breath. You may want to soften or close your eyes just to notice the breath. Notice where you feel it the most, whether it's right at the nose, at the nostril, or in the back of the throat. You may notice it in the chest, the rib cage, or even the belly. But notice where you experience that breath. And then let's try to even out the length of the inhales and the exhales, bringing our awareness to that. Let's stack our palms at heart center now and take a moment to set an intention for this practice. And you may want to use that word, reconnect. But we'll bring that thought to the front of our minds, to the front of our hearts. And then we'll release those hands back down into the lap. Palms are up. And we're going to begin a little bit of movement with just the fingers and hands. So when we inhale, we're going to expand into the right fingertips. I'm just stretching my fingers palm wide. And as I exhale, I'm going to soften those fingers. Nothing else needs to move right now. We'll stay with the right hand. Inhale, expand into the right hand. And to exhale, release. Almost like we're blowing up a balloon. Still with the right hand. On the exhale, those fingers soften. Last one, this side. And then just pause. Notice sensations in that right hand. And we'll move to the left hand now. So as we inhale, the fingers on the left hand extend, the palm stretches. And as we exhale, all of that softens. Staying with that left hand, expanding and contracting the fingers. We'll take one last breath with the left hand. And then release, let both hands just rest in the lap. Pause and notice how it feels. Okay, now we're going to alternate hands. So we'll switch from the right to the left. Let's all take a breath together, just a free inhale and an exhale. And then we'll start with our right hand. Inhale, expanding into the right fingers and palm. And the exhale softens it. And then we switch to the left side. Back to the right. And then to the left. And then pause. Now we're going to add in another piece. We'll expand into the right hand, and when we soften the hand, we'll turn our head to the left. And then when we expand into the left hand, our nose will come back to the center. And as we soften left hand, our nose will turn to the right. So bringing the head and neck into the action as well. Sit up. Feel that connection to the earth, to the chair, to the back of the chair. And when you're ready, we'll begin with the right hand. Inhale, expanding into the right fingers and palm. As we exhale, we soften the fingers, turn the nose to the left. Inhaling into fingers in the left hand, nose comes center. Exhale, release the fingers, nose goes to the right. Right fingers, nose to center. Soften the fingers, nose left. Left fingers, nose center. Soften and turn right. We'll do one more on each side now that we know what we're doing. And then just allow the head to turn to center. Pause and notice sensations in the body. How do we feel? How's the breath? Okay, we're going to change up our hand movement a little bit. We're going to add a 5 count to our breath. So as we count and inhale, we're going to extend thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky finger. And then when we exhale, we'll exhale pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Still leaving the hands on our lap. And we'll do both hands together. So when we inhale, we'll inhale thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky fingers expand. As we exhale, it's going to be pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. So this is kind of forcing us to even out the breath again. Let's just do the right hand now. Expanding into thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Feel that breath fill you up. And then as you exhale, you soften pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. And we'll go to the left hand. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky on the inhale. Exhale, soften pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Do it again, right hand. Left hand. Now let's do both hands again. Both thumbs, pointers, middle, ring, pinky. Exhale, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Okay, here's a challenge. Let's start by inhaling at the pinky fingers now. So we'll inhale pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Exhale, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Kind of mixing it up. Let's try it again. Inhale, pinky. All the way to the thumb. Exhale, thumb to pinky. One last time. And then pause, let the hands rest, palms up in your lap just as they are. Check in with how things feel. Let's turn our palms down on our lap now. And real gently, we're going to pick up our right wrist and lower it back down. And then left wrist. So we're just picking it up an inch or two just to connect the movement. We know what we're doing. We're connecting the mind and the body right now. Making mindful movements. Pause for a moment. We'll add the breath to it now. So when you inhale, let's just lift up right wrist. You might not even have to pick your fingers up off your thigh if you don't want to. And the exhale will bring it back down. And then we'll inhale the other side. And exhale, return. Just going from one side to the other. We'll do one more on each side, right and left. And then pause for a moment. Now, if you're in a seated position, let's release the arms down alongside the body and imagine that from, say, about here down, we're sitting in a pool of water that is exactly the right temperature for what we want. It might be warm, it might be cool, whatever it is that you need today, that's what we've got here. And we're just going to very slowly start to move those hands around in that perfect temperature water. These don't have to be big circles. But we're bringing a little bit of movement now into wrists, elbows, even the shoulder a little bit. Go the other way. You can wiggle your fingers as you go if that feels good. Let's go back to the first direction, whatever way that was. And then stop and put those hands back down into your lap. Notice sensations in the body now, a little bit bigger movement, right? Okay, now I'm going to move forward and bring my feet to the floor. You could stay right here if you're happy. I think I'd like to connect my feet to the floor. I'm just going to slide those blocks to the side because I'm going to use them again. But now my feet are connected to the floor and I'm sitting up tall, using a little bit more of the muscles in the back and the core. And we're just going to pick up the right toes and put them down, and then the left toes. Taking our time, lift and lower. And then pause for a moment. Notice those sensations. You might be feeling it in the calf muscle. Let's move to the, maybe to the front of the leg now. I'm going to come up onto my toes now and lower the heel. And I just have my hands resting on my lap. And that way my hands get to move too. And they know what's happening. And then we'll pause and we'll add the breath in. So let's inhale, lift up right heel. And we'll exhale and lower it. And inhale, left heel. And exhale, lower. Take your time. Now this next round, we'll lift the toes. So we'll inhale right toes and lower, and inhale left toes and lower. And then even it out, pause there. We're going to come into some ankle circles. So if you're feeling like you want to keep your foot on the floor, you can keep the toes down and make some ankle circles here. If you're feeling a little bit stronger, you can point your foot lift it up, lift the leg up a little bit and make the circles there. If you're in bed, you can do it however you want. But make sure that we make circles in both directions, and we do a little point and a little flex. And now you might start to feel sensations higher up in your leg as well. The quadriceps, the hamstring. Let's put that foot back down. Take a breath, notice. And then we're going to come to the other foot. So if we want to make circles with keeping the toes on the ground, we can do that. It's just a slightly smaller circle. Or we could lift up that leg, pick the foot up off the floor, and make the circles. Make sure you go in both directions. You might hear some cracking and popping. That's okay. You can do some pointing and flexing as well. And then let's put that foot back down next to its neighbor. You might even want to look at them, see how things look. Maybe squinch up your toes like you're making a little fist with your toes, and then release them. And we'll do that again. Sit up tall while you're making fists with your toes, and release. Yeah, see how that feels. Notice where those sensations come in. We'll do one more, squinch up the toes, and then release everything back down. If you want to tap things out, go ahead. See how that feels. And then we're going to take, our feet are about 1 fist distance apart right now, right? We're in our basic seated mountain pose. Let's open the knees wide, see how that feels. And they're not that wide, they're just a little wider than my ankles right now. And then I'm going to bring them back together, maybe knock them together. I'm crossing my right hand over the left. And then I'm going to open them wide, one hand on top of each knee. Bring the knees back together. Now I've got my left hand on top. Now we can add breath in, inhale, open. Exhale, cross over. Inhale, open. Exhale, cross. And the next time that the knees are wide, one hand on top of each knee, we'll pause there, bring those knees back to neutral. Connecting the top half of the body and the bottom half of the body. Now, that was fun to do with the breath, right? It's a slow movement. If you're full of energy right now and you want to play, you know, you can go as fast as you want and see if you can remember to do the opposite hand. It's kind of fun to play with. Give it a try if you have that extra energy. If not, connecting both the arms and the legs, top to bottom, really helps us feel reconnected to the body. Okay, a little balance pose before we start to close here. So a lot of times we do tree pose standing up, but because we're staying in our chair today, we're going to do what I call sapling pose. So I'm going to turn my chair just a little bit so you can see me. I've got both feet on the floor. I'm going to pick up my left heel and I'm going to bring that left thigh out to the side, put my left heel on top of my right foot and sit up tall. I can bring my hands to heart center. Thinking about from my hips down, I'm rooted, right? I'm connected to the earth. From my hips up, this is the stuff that's above the earth. I'm growing, I'm getting tall. Nice tall spine. Let's stay here for 3 nice even breaths. And then we'll release those hands back down to the lap. Let's switch the legs. Let's bring the legs back to neutral. Make any moves you need here to feel good. And now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm kind of opening my right knee out to the right, and I'm bringing my right heel on top of my left foot. So there's a little opening here in that right thigh. I can stack my palms at heart center, or I could bring palms together. It's another good way to do it. Thumbs at sternum. So it's a nice reminder of where the midline of the body is. Hips down, rooted. Hips up, rising. Crown of the head reaches for the ceiling. We're going to stay here for 3 even breaths. And then we'll release those hands back down into the lap. Let's straighten out that leg. Make any movements that you need to feel good here. And then we're ready to sit back in our chair again. So I'm going to grab my blocks so that I can connect my feet to the floor one last time. I'm going to slide back and remember that I'm supported by the earth beneath me. Could be a prop as well. By the chair back. Here I am supported, turning the palms up. The invitation is to soften or close your eyes. Come back to that slow and even breath. And let's bring our awareness to the left foot and to the right foot. To left ankle and right ankle. Bring your awareness to the left lower leg and the right lower leg. Left hip and thigh, right hip and thigh. Left side of the rib cage, right side of the rib cage. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Left upper arm, right upper arm. Left elbow and forearm, right elbow and forearm. Left hand, right hand. Bring your awareness to the upper back. Bring your awareness to the crown of the head. Bring your awareness down now to the center of your skull, to the center of your throat, the center of your chest, center of your belly, down to the hips where you are supported, to the thighs, to both knees, the lower legs, and both feet, connecting us again to the earth. Bring your awareness into the entire body. Now we'll stack those palms at heart center, and we're going to bring that intention back to the front of our minds. And just silently in your head, repeat that word, reconnect. 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 Then release those hands, gently blink open your eyes, and take a moment here to thank yourself for taking time to reconnect to the body. It makes a difference. Thank you so much for joining me, my friends. It's an honor to be here with you. Stay well.